What is up, guys? So I had to take this perfect opportunity once I saw this headline to let the people know that this is exactly who Jake Paul is. The headline reads, Jake Paul accepts Champions Challenge, but here's why it won't happen. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I will summarize. After his fight against Mike Tyson, where there were so many people watching it, in effect, it broke Netflix, and Netflix is now being sued in a class action lawsuit for all the buffering and loading where people didn't get to see the fight. Let's just start with that. Now, Jake Paul is claiming that Daniel Dubois, current heavyweight IBF champion who just recently knocked out one of the biggest names in boxing, Anthony Joshua, has called out Jake Paul, has DM'd Jake Paul, challenging him to the fight. Jake Paul proceeds to let us know that he has accepted the challenge and he will absolutely face current IBF World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Dubois, and he will have his promoter set up the details immediately. But then the article directly after that says, but there are a couple of reasons this won't happen. One, the IBF has always mandated that their champions fight within the top 15. Fighters that are ranked within the top 15. Okay? Jake Paul has more pull, power, and notoriety of just about anyone in boxing right now. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds psycho. But it's a fact. His social media following makes it so. To a point where they broke Netflix. So many people trying to see this kid get knocked out. Okay? So, although the IBF may traditionally have rules that prevents championship boxers to fighting outside of the top 15 ranked guys, rules are meant to be broken. And Jake Paul and his promotional company, MVP, absolutely seem to mostly get what they want. They seem to write their own script. They seem to write their own narratives. And I have a hard time believing that if they wanted to throw all of their resources at this and get the Daniel Dubois fight, I have this little inkling down in my bones that they could make that happen. Jake Paul, if he wanted this fight, would be ranked number 14 tomorrow. Okay? This kid gets what he wants, and he has the power to get what he wants because he brings the numbers to prove that he should get what he wants. Because anyone who does what he wants is bound to make a shit ton of money. So now you're telling me the IBF doesn't want to make a shit ton of money? I don't believe you. The IBF loves money just like any other organization loves money. Okay? And I'm here to tell you that if Jake Paul truly wanted that fight, he would push for that fight. And when he pushed, IBF would bend the rules for Jake Paul. I understand it's not within their tradition. They only allow their champions to fight top 15 ranked opponents. But Jake Paul is not a traditional boxer now, is he? Times are changing. Rules are meant to be broken. And even those that are most heavily entrenched in the boxing game right now are looking and seeing what Jake Paul is doing and wanting to get on board. That's why everybody, including current and former boxer and boxing champions, are challenging this guy. Why do you think that's happening? They see it. They see the numbers. They see that Netflix literally broke because there's so many people trying to watch this guy fight. and they think to themselves, damn, I'd like to get a piece of that. Wait, so you're telling me IBF doesn't want a piece of that? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me if Jake Paul threw all of his resources at fighting Daniel Dubois, that the IBF would not figure out a way to make an exception in his case so that they could all make millions and millions and millions of dollars? They wouldn't find out a way to get his ass into the top 15. And even if they didn't get him into the top 15, they would make an exception in this case. I'm here to tell you the reason this fight is not happening has nothing to do with IBF and their traditional rules, and way more to do with Jake Paul writing his own narrative. The traditional hold me back guy. Hold me back. Hold me back, because if you don't, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to beat the shit out of your champion. I'm going to beat the shit out of your IBF champion. You know, he is constantly putting forth this narrative that he is this top tier, top caliber boxer, right? And the casuals believe it. That's the bad thing. He's working on it. He's not bad. I mean, he's working on it. I'm not saying he won't one day be there. Right now, he's not. I saw a still picture of him in the Mike Tyson fight, and his feet were this far apart when he was throwing a punch. Top level boxers don't do that, okay? So I just want to be clear. This article about Daniel Dubois, this is a perfect example of what Jake Paul does. He makes sure that the public knows that he got challenged by this person who is an excellent boxer, top of the game, top tier. And he makes sure that we know that he accepted the challenge, right? And then he also conveniently slides in the narrative, but IBF won't allow it. That damn, I want to fight Daniel Dubois so bad, but that damn IBF, man, they're such sticklers about champs not fighting people out of the top 15. And unfortunately, I hadn't fought anyone but retired UFC fighters, so I'm not ranked in the top 15. Too bad. Guess I can't fight Daniel Dubois. He's making himself look as though he would, look as though he wants that fight, when in reality, he doesn't want that smoke. He don't want none of that smoke from Daniel Dubois. I can assure you of that, okay? And I can also assure you of a second thing. If Jake Paul did in fact want that fight, Jake Paul would get that fight. Rules are meant to be broken.